Good, good morning and welcome to What People Miss. Today, I'm excited to be here with Tiffany Wright, the founder of BOBC. We'll tell you what that means in a minute.
Yes.
Before we get into like officially welcoming Tiffany to the show and everything, let's just remember what we're here for. What People Miss is a conversation about the subtleties of life in which life is really happening. Like Mozart says, the music is not in the notes, but in the silence between them. And so today, as we continue this journey and discussion about the Jewels of Juneteenth, I'm so excited to be here with you, Tiffany, because she's a founder of Black-owned business
Business.
community.
Yes, yes. Thank you. And I'm excited to be here. I just want to take the opportunity to thank you for allowing me to interview today on your platform.
Oh, absolutely. I'm humbled that you accepted my invitation. Yeah. So let's just jump straight into it.
Okay.
What was missing in your business community that you needed to find Black-owned business community in your area?
So, my experience is, originally started a nonprofit for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And I am completely self taught. It was just a labor of love as a mother of four and a proud mother of two young adult children with intellectual developmental disabilities. I wanted a program in my area that the people that I serve had a space to be seen, heard, and just be in a space amongst their peers. I felt like it was lacking. I am a native of New Jersey, and there are programs everywhere and just different outings all of the time. I've also worked in Maryland, where there's just so many programs and different outings and experiences for the people that I serve. And then also working in Loudoun County, Virginia, where the resources, was, bountiful. Like it was just so many resources. So at that time, I started off in West Virginia, and I was really taken back by what I witnessed with the day program at that time. And so, as a compelled mother, I was just like, I'm going to start my own program. And as I was developing that program, I witnessed a need of support. I kept looking for like a Black owner, Black business directory, or just different networking groups that I can go to someone and just ask for mentorship. And it wasn't, they didn't have it at that time in Berkeley County. So then the next initiative that I took on was to just simply say, we have this beautiful community of Black entrepreneurs and businesses in this community, and let's just form a support group where we can just help one another with resources, information, networking, business to business. And then Cordelia BOBC just exploded.
Yeah. Wow. So basically, you were trying to support yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay.
To be honest with you, that's a great way to put it. It's like, I founded BOBC because I needed BOBC, right? It could be intimidating if you don't have, um, you know, business degrees or just a lot of different experiences walking into the chamber and just not understanding. And I love the chamber. Like, I'm a huge supporter of the chamber. But as a person that was like a newbie and didn't know a lot, the language and the etiquette, all of that can be intimidating. And I'm like, well, you know what? We need to form a business network where people can learn. Like they
Hmm.
can start from here so that you can expand to the chambers and the Rotary clubs and just all of the, different networking groups and business.
Yeah. So when you founded your organization, right? Like, what was the reception like?
So I started off in May of 2022, and I just asked so many questions because I just didn't understand. At that time, I think we had 5 businesses in the room and maybe like 2 or 3 community supporters. And I needed to understand something because at that time I'm going into business 40 plus,
Mhm.
right? So I needed to have an understanding of the way I was thinking of taking the village. Is that old school? Is that something that happens today? Just kind of understand, are we on islands of our own? Because, that wasn't my experience in New Jersey, right? So the first thing, Cordelia, I asked is, could or should we work together? And especially in business. And then I got that answer of yes, we should and could work together. So then the next question is like, okay, well, let's continue. And it was like, yes, we want to continue. And you're going to take the lead on this. And I was just like, oh my God.
You're like, I didn't sign up for that.
No,
You guys would think it was a great idea, and you'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. You can go
absolutely.
back, Tiffany.
Absolutely. Cordelia, it was so funny because I had business owners in that meeting that was in business much longer than myself, like have way more experience in, to be honest with you, education, right? And so I was just like, I'm just giving you the idea. I don't want to take the lead. And it was funny because all 3 of the business owners that I asked to take the lead on this was like, no, this is your vision. Here you go. And we've just been going ever since.
So basically, it sounds like you really desired mentorship and then you got it, but in the form of, may I ask whether or not those people ended up being your board members?
Yes, so 2 did become board members, but I will say I did get mentorship. So let me just rewind just a little bit. My mentor is, her name is Alicia Puller. She's the founder of Stars That Shine. I would be forever grateful for her and her mentorship. Alicia will work with me and give me monthly assignments and help me form my business network. I mean, excuse me, my nonprofit, Beyond Measure. But then I kept saying to Alicia, my first time ever going to a chamber networking event was because of Alicia. She brought me as her guest, and she would provide different opportunities for me to go to different events with her so I can learn. And then I bugged her to death. I mean, I love Alicia so much. I mean, I really bugged her to death. Like, Alicia, we need to do something. We need to form a business network. And I mean, Alicia didn't budge right away. I mean, this was a conversation we had for months. And I think finally she just was like, okay, Tiff, let's see what we can do, right? Let's see if the community wants it. And so I did have that mentorship with her. I would like to be clear, but I just felt like, okay, if I need it, what about the next person and the next person and the next person? And I have just committed, Cordelia, to providing a space for people. I know how it feels, how frustrating it is, how it will make you give up being in rooms and spaces with people with so much more resources and education, and you just don't want to leave people out. And so I made a commitment that anything I learn, I will teach automatically. No one has to ask me. Like, I love when, I will always try to sit down with people as much as I can to help them understand things in business.
So what I'm hearing is you're a pioneer.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
receive it. Yes. I mean, absolutely. Like I said, I know how it felt to not understand articles of incorporation. I know what it felt like to not know. I remember one of the worst experiences I ever felt, and it was a very small thing, but I didn't know. And what I tell people now is, you don't know what you do not know.
Oh,
It's just that simple, right? I remember I didn't know how to send a calendar invite.
mhm.
And this person, I didn't even know that you can do it, let alone how to do it.
Wow.
And the person that taught me made me feel so small. Like, how do you not know how to do that? You should have just put it on my calendar and, next time put it on. And I'm like, I didn't even know to do it. And the way I felt, I was like, I don't want others to feel that way ever. Because you have people who have really great ideas and want to do things in the community and have such creativity, but then there's a business side to that. Like, you could be the best cook in the world, but then it's taking it from being a cook and as a hobby and with your family, then taking it to a business. So it's just a business structure. And again, I'm gonna use your words, as a pioneer, I was like, I always want myself, my network, to always provide a space of safe space and advocacy for the people that are a part of the network.
Oh, thank you, Tiffany. I really, it like brings tears to my eyes as I listen to you because um for those of you who are viewing and listening, you may not know that Berkeley County is a county in West Virginia, right? And so I live in Jefferson County. So unlike Jefferson County, which is a little bit more, I don't know, like cosmopolitan, I would say, like there tend to be more like DC side people over here. Berkeley County is very um, good old boy.
Oh yes. Oh
It's
yes.
I mean, not that Jefferson County isn't good old boy, but it's
Mm,
less good old boy than Berkeley County. So,
mhm.
um, let's step back into history for a minute,
Absolutely.
right? Because the theme this month is the Jewels of Juneteenth. And as we're having this conversation, right,
Yeah.
today in Hagerstown, there is a Juneteenth Black authors event
Yes.
happening. And but just let's go back like 100 years ago, right? And this would be just on the heels of Jim Crow, right? And there were people coming out of slavery. There were also people who were free already, right? Because to be clear, there were always free blacks in this country, right? The history books won't tell you that.
Yeah.
So Tiffany is kind of like the free blacks that were out here that already had businesses, helping the previously enslaved to start businesses with the skills that they had, right? And would you agree with that?
Oh yes, absolutely. I would agree.
Because like I would say the new slavery is being chained to corporate America, right? And it's a different version of a plantation, but it does keep people chained and unfree, you know? And when they want to step out and start their own, like Tiffany, you've already said, it's not easy. The resources are not readily available. Myself, I've even gone to the local small business, um, what is it called? SBA,
SBA.
and not helpful. Like, in fact, after being mentored by someone at the local SBA, um, I actually had to close that business and re start a new business.
Wow. And one thing I would like to just add and go back to when you saying being chained to corporate America, excuse me, is another thing I would like to point out is the fact that we as a people are still dividing ourselves. So, we know the division of the boat stops, right? Leaving Africa, all the different islands, different things like that. That was division, right? Then you have the division of the house and field. You had your dark skinned enslaved people and then your light skinned people. And in business, believe it or not, something that I have witnessed and I will not subscribe to is the county wars and the state line wars. And, well, originally, just as another step back, is we started off with the name of Black owned Berkeley County. And because I was thinking small. It was not to exclude anyone. I just wanted to, at that time, 3 years ago, just highlight that, yes, in West Virginia, There is a Black community of business owners and entrepreneurs and leaders that have businesses, and hey, we're here.
Mhm.
And that was just the thought process at that time. And then we're just a welcoming bunch. And I could not believe, even 3 years down the line, how many people would not join the network or even come to our open free meetings because it had Berkeley County in it. And it was a discussion that went on for years. And I just didn't. I'm sorry, Cordelia, I'm passionate. After a while, I didn't want to hear it anymore. I'm like, listen, this is nothing more than modern day house and field. Like,
Mhm.
we need to stop wasting time over this county and over the state. And, I don't do business with them and the last names and the football. I just didn't have time for that. I really didn't. And I still don't, honestly. Um, and then also the idea that it's only room for one. So when we're in these small spaces that are majority white, and you have maybe one or two Black owned businesses, you may have one business that knows how to do something or was able to get information about a grant or whatever the case may be, but they're not willing to share that information with their fellow, you know, business owner in the community because there's only room for one. So I'm willing to sabotage. And that was something that just really took me back as well. And I'm like, that is not the mission of BOBC. We're going to stay committed to sharing information, providing advocacy, providing resources, providing a space for our members and in the community to amplify their business. It is just that simple.
Wow, you said so much. You said a lot. And you know what? Um, I really appreciate you bringing that up because that is something that I've come across in the DMV in general, right? And we affectionately call it DMV, but that means District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. Um, but the inner division is it's the death of most female Black businesses, I would
Yes.
say. The men seem to jump around it somehow, but the women Black businesses, they just crumble and fade.
Absolutely. And this year for our initiative is restoration and sustainability,
Amen.
because of just what you just said. Black women led businesses crumble because it's super competitive, and the willingness to sabotage is unreal.
It outweighs the willingness to collaborate.
To collaborate, yes.
So, I find that the most feminine quality is to collaborate.
Yes.
But because of, I think, I'm gonna say systemic racism and the ripple effects of that, and also the inner, right, division, which is a ripple effect of systemic racism, right? We feel like if we help another Black woman, that what's in it for me?
What's in it for me? Absolutely. I mean, I've watched Cordelia. I can get into some. I rather not,
We
but
know the stories. We know the people, but that's not what we're talking about. What we're
no,
talking about is the other side of that, right? It's like, um, I believe, like my experience of BOBC has been that if I can help and support you, right? I'm gonna connect you with someone who can
yes,
help you grow your business.
absolutely,
And like one of the struggles I've had is getting a venue, right, for my workshops. And yeah, I can do it virtually, and I've been going okay with that. But I know the impact of what I do in person is so much more powerful. And just in a real quick conversation with you, you sorted that for me. Like I now have a local venue to do
yes,
my workshops and stuff. And I would have never have known, you know, and that's what I love about BOBC.
Thank
And
you.
so that's just like a sidebar, and you know, and I wanted to elevate you in that way.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's what we do. I mean, I naturally do
And
that.
what people
I naturally, that's just like I said, the core values to connect, because that you need those connections in business, black or white. Like, it's about the connections, right? Connections, having the conversations, sitting down, being comfortable to sit down with someone and say, I don't understand this, or I need this, or I need space. And I'm like, that is like of the utmost importance to me in the network, in the board of advisors, is to connect. And again, just not withhold information. It just doesn't make sense to me. And again, like I said, starting out 3 years ago, I was really shocked with how people was willing to not, share information. And, again, having that idea is only room for one. Subscribing to division, subscribing to that house and field mentality, subscribing to the paper bag. I've even witnessed some of that.
Let's talk about the paper bag. So for those of you who don't know, like 100 years ago, there was a paper bag test. And it's like if you didn't match the paper bag, then you're not qualified to be part of a community, or you wouldn't be accepted into a church, or whatever. So it's and there's a saying too, right? If you're black, go stay back. If you're light, you're right. And if you're brown, stick around. So if you,
Something like that.
the brown is the paperback.
I remember the first time, no, Cordelia, I cannot make this stuff up. The first time I kind of was catching whiffs of that, I was like, what? And it was funny because I asked a mentor in the community that was very healed, mature mentor in the community. And I said, I think I was feeling like I was kind of going through this paper bag and the person did confirm it, was like, yeah, you are. It's like, yeah, that's kind of real. This is really happening. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Is this really happening in 2023? Like, are we really subscribing to this? And then, yes. And I was just like, yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah. So Black business in the 21st century, we have not evolved.
We have, no.
And actually, I would say we've digressed, because I feel like um, in 1925, we were much further along. Because, and this kind of ties into what I'm going to speak with my guest next week about, because of segregation, right? We
Okay.
had to help each other.
We had to.
If we did not help each other, we'd all perish, right? But now we don't have to help each other. If we chuck and jive enough, Massa might give us a little nickel or two, right? And
Yeah.
so sadly, it has to be said, um, even with all the affirmative action law expiring, like we knew that was coming, but did we, right? I don't think people really understood that it was for 65 years. It wasn't supposed to be forever. And in 65 years, after what, centuries of enslavement, we were supposed to just rise to the top with these extra allowances and set-asides. And then, the DEI has gone away as well, right? People are afraid, but I think people should be cheering and celebrating the fact that, oh, another opportunity to segregate ourselves. Let's pool our resources. Like one example of attempting to pull our resources is with the Kamala Harris, right? Like at the last minute, all the AKAs were trying to get together, but it was just the AKAs. Why?
Should have been everyone. Yes. But that's what I'm saying. It's those modern day division games that we've subscribed to throughout the years. And it's funny you should say that, because with the gala that I'm hosting next week, we are experiencing some fear. because my whole business model is DEI and I'm not changing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in the sense of the name of my network is Black owned business community. It's
Yep.
just that simple, right? And so everything that's going on in our country right now, there is some fear. It definitely is. And we are experiencing it. But I agree with you, Cordelia, on I will argue this is the time that we pull together even more.
Yep.
This is your resistance. This is the time to resist any of that. And let's work together. Let's set aside whether you're a Christian, Muslim, Zionist, anything. It doesn't matter. At this point, all distractions need to be put to the side. And we as a people, men, women, we're not even going to get into this debate of how they try to divide Black men and Black women, all of that. It is time to move on one accord.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple. But again, because you're a light worker as well and other light workers in the community, we just have to know that we have to continue. We have assignments placed on us, right?
Yeah.
And when we need to rest, we definitely need to rest, but then we need to get back up
Yeah.
and just keep pushing and keep going and providing a space for our children and children's children where this is normal for them to see Black excellence and Black unity. So
Yeah. Let's talk about your gala a little bit. So like are there still tickets?
yes, and we are winding down. Our deadline is tomorrow.
Oh,
I know, right? I know, right? We still have a few more. I think we have about maybe 3 more sponsorship openings left, and maybe like 5 to 6 more single tickets.
okay.
But we're definitely coming down to the wire.
Okay.
This will be our 3rd annual Blackout Gala
Okay.
in honor of Juneteenth. It is Friday, June the 13th at 7 p.m. here in Hagerstown. And I'm really excited about that because, again, we started, in West Virginia. And West Virginia will always remain home. We started there. And I'm very proud of the work that we started in West Virginia. But the network was in such a demand that we started to expand. And and at one point, to be completely honest, I had more Maryland members than in West Virginia, so it just kind of made sense to move to Maryland. However, we're a community, so it's not like BOBC only for Maryland. It's we're in a centralized location where
Yeah.
people can come and everyone is welcome to network. So I'm excited that this year we have expanded our gala, our 3rd year, which is a historical year for the network, into Maryland. But I just want to make this clear too. This is my 4th organized Juneteenth event.
Oh,
The first one was maybe a month, literally a month after we started BOBC, because we started May the 8th, 2022.
oh,
And then that Juneteenth, I was on a planning committee, in the community I was in back in West Virginia. And at the very last minute, the Juneteenth activities was canceled. And I said, no, no, no. BOBC is still going to move on with a private event. And we did. And so we hosted a meet and greet event at a local barbershop at that time in downtown Martinsburg. We had such a wonderful time. And then we expanded and moved up to galas. So now we're on our 3rd one.
oh, I didn't know that little history of that.
Yes.
Thank you. And so I'm excited to attend the evening of Black excellence. So now, can I just clarify this? We'll just lighten up the conversation for a split second here.
Go ahead, please.
We've been heavy, right? And
Yeah.
deep. So do I have to wear black dress? Because I'm like a bright color person.
So you know what? It's so funny. You know why I lean into the Black is because I want to pay homage. Like, I know some people, I want to take that stigma away that Black is sad and is bad and everything. Black is beautiful. So, I mean, I prefer your presence. So I don't want it to be like, if you don't have your black dress, you're not coming. The preference is black, to show that black excellence. I mean, if you want to have other accessories, that's fine, but we're going to black this thing out. It's the blackout.
Okay, I love it because I just read that this morning and I was like, do I have to buy a dress for this? Do I have a black dress? I don't have a.
And that's funny. You're probably the first, and that was another reason why we thought it just made sense when we first started, because everyone has black. Is simple. I'm sorry, Cordelia, I would have just
No.
thought you had a black dress. And you know what's so funny? I do tell people, though, I wanted to be very clear. I do not want the dress code to keep people from coming. Right. So, I mean, we are asking you're all black, you're semi-formal. However, if you have a ticket, you desire to be there, you desire to be inspired, you desire to be around like-minded business owners, entrepreneurs, and leaders, please come. That should not keep you from coming and attending.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it can encourage you to go shopping
Yes.
at a black-owned business, to be clear. So go to
Yeah.
our local black boutique and get you a black semi-formal
Dress or gown or suit,
yeah.
whatever.
And join. Yeah, no, I just wanted to make a joke about that. And I did
Mhm.
really want to know, do I need to wear a black dress?
Okay.
So, yeah, thank you, Tiffany, for having this really honest and open conversation because that's really what I like to talk about and what people miss. I mean, we're not sugarcoating things, Like I like people to see each other. It's to see yourself, right? Look at what you're doing. Like, why are you sabotaging somebody else's business? Don't you know that what you do to another human being actually boomerangs? It really does. Like, if you can't get ahead, there's a reason for that, right?
Yes. I've seen it. Trust me, it's not worth it. I would encourage anyone that's starting out or just in business, do not sabotage. I've watched businesses crumble because of the intentional, it's the going out your way to sabotage other people in their businesses. I see it all the time, Cordelia, and it makes me so sad. It really makes me sad, and it's just like I am going to continue to pray for unity for us, especially in, like I said, in spaces like this, all spaces, but when we are outnumbered, like we have to like band together,
Yeah.
right? And just stay on one. And again, like the motto in BOBC is we don't operate like, for instance, like a BNI where there's only one industry, right? I mean, for instance, I have two catering companies that bake. The model is, if a consumer or client goes to one and for whatever reason it doesn't work out, the time and the day, whatever that service they provide, you refer to the next person. And that's kind of how our community and network, is. And it's funny, we've kind of morphed into a community. I always use the word family because that's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here on What People Miss and
Thank
sharing
you.
your vision, your community. If you're local to any of the areas that we mentioned, we'll have your link in the comments for people to join. And also, if you hear this before June 9th, we'll also have the link to the gala so you can get one of those last few sponsorship spots or tickets. And don't go another day missing out on what's most important in life.
All right. Thank you, Cordelia.
Thank you. Go ahead. Okay, and let me stop the live stream. We'll come back in.